to Lead Live, reminding you of your personal genius and how you think in order to actualize what you desire.
Gratitude. We're appreciative that you've joined us here today. Freedom, a path to achieving it. This is our part 2 of a series this month. I'd like to begin by reminding all of us, as we love deeply, share our love with loved ones now, all of our loved ones. Be less concerned about timing. Timing is an illusion of our own creation. We use it in order to experience the nature of our human lives as we move closer and closer to the humanity that we idealize. While you're in the moment you're in, share the love that you have with loved ones. We're not guaranteed the moment that succeeds the moment we're in right now. We're not guaranteed anything other than what we have and are experiencing right now. We plan for the future. We acknowledge and leverage whatever we've experienced or learned about that has to do with the past. All we have right now is the current moment. Yes, I'm thinking of particular loved ones in my space, family, friends, colleagues. We don't know what may happen in the next moment. Enjoy and honor the present. It is a gift. So, to recap last week, we talked about, or in part 1 of Freedom, a Path to Achieving It, we define freedom, or we encourage you to define freedom for yourself. What does it mean to you? And hopefully, as you answer that question for yourself, you write down your answer. Not someone else's answer, your own. And we talked about the importance of 3 key aspects of freedom. 1, to be the authentic self, authentically you. 2, to do, to act as you want without restraint. And 3, freedom from, to guard against something external, limiting your authenticity, your ability to move as you choose to move. I was reminded, and I spent more time than I thought, and for a good reason. I follow that inner voice. I was reminded of the now famous Serena Williams. She decided who she was going to be long before the rest of us could even see it, because it wasn't our vision, it was her vision. And thank goodness she was surrounded by the right energy, the right folks to instill and to elevate that. She knew what she would achieve, and that enabled her to win big. Again, independent of the noise that strongly demanded otherwise. That is until she began winning big. She dreamed big. She quieted the external noise that could not feed her. She definitely leveraged her sister, in particular, beautiful sisters. And she has others. And she used all of those key resources to advance. She decided consciously and accepted at the subconscious level who she would be and who she was. She was a champion long before folks around her could see that she was a champion. And because of that, she manifested it. So to be, we encourage that step 2 is that you decide to be in that freedom state now. Decide what freedom is and decide to be in that state now. Not wait until others see the manifestation. You imagine Use your other mental tools, your will, your intuition, your perception, your memory. You use your capacity to imagine, to be, to experience the freedom state now and choose to be that every step of the moment. We here at Lead Live emphasize the importance of being. It's where all true freedom really exists. It begins there, really. Being is an internal experience. Being informs the to do and the from. Being makes transparent the who we really are. I recall one of my brothers. I love him deeply, dearly, just like all of my brothers. I am so fortunate. I have family, some I know, and I'm sure many I have no clue about. Those I know, oh, the love is deep. And I recall one of my brothers stating that he was constrained physically in a more profound ways than we're going to discuss on this particular broadcast. And everyone around him, for no obvious reason to a stranger, stated that he walks with God to remind folks to be careful of him. As a person comfortable in his skin and comfortable with people around him, and yet an introverted person, he led with his being. So while active and inactive, he drew from the infinite intelligence at will. Being enables us to respond based on the self's priority. Those priorities hopefully begin with the dream, vision, core values, goals. Some of you already lived the experience of not being concerned about what others feared because you understood that you and your big why were real. When you know your essence, your big why, so much of the noise externally ceases. So much of the confusion is eliminated. The clarity sought is actualized. Now, when answers, solutions are presented, you welcome them. We welcome them when we know our why and we're living true to the essence of who we are. We're choosing to be authentic. We're being. So we encourage you to write down what to be means to you. Third, now the why for you that you're passionate about or have a burning desire for, what is that? How to learn your why? Well, first of all, why is your life important? Who and what are important to you? What would bring you the most happiness in 5, 10, 25, 50 years from now? Fundamentals to more fully answering those questions are answering the following questions. What are the principles by which you lead your life? In other words, what values do you hold dear? What brings you joy, happiness, and fulfillment? And if you've never experienced joy, never experienced happiness, and I know it's hard for some people to believe, yet there's too many people on this planet walking around without joy, happiness, let alone fulfillment. If you don't know what those things are because you've never experienced it, you get to dream big. You get to fantasize internally about the joy that you can experience. You get to explore even other people's joys and happiness. Not that you adopt theirs, because it may not fit, and most likely will not. That you get to experience vicariously what the joy and happiness may lead to. You get to leverage the science around joy and happiness and what that does to the psychic, what that does to the energetic forces in the body, around the body, what that does to the chemicals in the brain, what that does at so many levels that literally accelerates the pace of your actualizing a dream that you codified into a vision, to a mission and a set of goals that ends up being your why, so that you can experience life fulfillment. So just because you may not have been joyful or happiness has been at best fleeting does not mean that you can't expose yourself sufficiently to more knowledge. Proud of you for being here in so many places to leverage in order to get to that greater level of fulfillment. And let me tell you, fulfillment is awesome. And I've had the opportunity, I gave myself the gift of that throughout my life, even as I may have struggled. And definitely when I failed, I realized, oh my gosh, there's no more lower I can go. So let me just get up, wipe myself off, especially if there's mud around. I remember that as a kid, I used to love to play in mud. Didn't like to fall in mud when I was fighting other boys, but or jumping from trees. But oh my God, mud, I felt like I was one of those ducks because we raised a lot of animals, ducks, pheasants, guineas. Oh my God, they're so noisy. For those you know, guineas that fly around, they look like a combination of a turkey, a duck, and a bird of some other kind. Beautiful essence. I just remember the mud. You may be like me, remembering your childhood and how these fleeting moments or these regular moments of just absolute joy doing what other people, and especially adults and elders, may say were nonsense. You've dirtied your clothes. Well, that may be the most happiness you had that week. Hopefully not. Hopefully you experience that on a daily basis. But that comes to mind. And what also comes to mind is working very diligently in two different PhD programs and people wondering aloud to me, "What are you doing? Why are you doing that? And then you're working full time? You're nuts." Well, we all have our own craziness, nuts, aspects, weirdness, and for certain, I was doing more than the average person. Yet, when we're living our passion, we do more than the average person. You know that. When you live what you're excited about, and you don't necessarily know rationally why you're excited, you don't have to distill all the details. You don't have to break it down. Just live that. Live the authentic you. Because as you move through this thing called life, the reason for your being, the essence of why you're here, becomes more of an illumination, even if it's not for you. As I shared the story about one of my brothers, Jacob is his name, and when he experienced being constrained and people around were in awe, he he didn't do anything to engender that, so he thought. People felt the energetic forces in the same way when you're passionate, especially when you keep it close to the chest and you move with unwavering commitment. People feel something. You're moving quickly and they wow. And even if they don't know it's you, your impact is influencing everything around you. So write down your big why. It becomes your vision. It helps you clarify the specific goals and know the evidence that really reflect, they are the evidence, reflect your core values. Now, number 4, accept that you're worthy. Now, to be in that state of freedom, what does that mean? Accept that you're worthy now. To be in whatever that state of freedom is that you are opting for. To be, to act, to do, to be free from. Accept that you're worthy now. There's so many examples I can think of without pointing out people like my lovely brother or any other family member. I think about the examples that maybe some of you have even given. I know you. And the examples around what? Two individuals, same set of lived conditions, lived on the same block, went to the same school, graduated the same year. Many lived experiences comparable, worked at the same places, and yet their trajectories qualitatively different. One just took off. The other one stayed where she is. The one that took off, she is just living passionately. And people would tell her, don't laugh. It's not appropriate for a female, whatever. She just laughed. She just engaged. And she wasn't focused on whether I'm female or something else. I am focused on being who I am and living with integrity and taking off. And if this environment doesn't fit, then there's another environment because there's enough environments that will embrace all of us. So she moved accordingly. The other one, her dear loved one, was like a sister, stayed at that third organization they went to together, doing well, completely valued by the organization. The organization will probably want her until she retires, if they can so afford to keep her. And because of her mindset is, I'm just happy to be here. I don't really feel so worthy. I don't know why they appreciate me. I'm just happy to be here. That's likely where she's going to stay. Our mindset is powerful. So we ask you here at Lead Live, before you experience that freedom, decide that you're worthy now. Not when you think you may experience it around the corner, because quite frankly, you won't experience what you don't believe you're worthy of. The universe listens, and it's more than just what we say, it's what we feel and what we decide, and we communicate to ourselves all day long. I'm worthy. I'm worthy. Of course I'm worthy. It's already actualized. It's around the corner. It's present. I just have to manifest more of it. Let me just get my business done because I'm already there. I dream it every day. I get to experience and feel it. It brings joy, excitement. I'm happy. I am already fulfilled knowing that I've actualized it. So let me get out the way. Got more stuff to do. Got more stuff to do. Choose to be in the space where you know and you accept and you remind yourself so that at the subconscious level, it's so well embedded, so well programmed, you don't even need to think about it consciously. Someone says no to you, you just realize that's just a precondition to the yes that you need. So you just ask it in a way that was insufficient. You go back. No again. Okay, how do I represent? No again. How do I, and then, you're not the right person to go to. Go to another person. Knows will help you understand how I can reconstruct this to get the yes that I'm looking for. And then all of a sudden, a yes. Whereas the average person does what? Well, I won't speak that because I want the average person to do what that mindset of that fill in the blank, that individual does that leads to the yeses, the manifestations of the freedoms, the freedom that she, the freedom that he, the freedom that they choose to experience. The universe only gives us what we feel and think about all the time. Who do you think you are? Your name, that child you were, your skin color, the home you live in, the vehicle you drive? You're so much more. How about pure consciousness, spirit, and from the unconditional love source who granted you access to be here? You were born with capacity that exceeds what is known. Scientists remind us of that all the time. They learn new things about just the nature of this physical body, let alone the fact that our minds are far well beyond these human constructs, these physical constructs. You get to access that capacity, which is awesome. You get to listen to the highest source, infinite intelligence, universal intelligence, to enhance your overall well being. So write a statement affirming you. You have greatness within you. You meet and exceed your highest expectation of self. Number 5, focus and be open to receiving. Again, the universe hears all and mirrors our hearts and minds. And you believe that? Not only can you believe it, you will be so in sync with the universal laws when you are the essence of who you were intended to be, are intended to be. Now that you're clear about your big why, that will enable you to experience the freedom you seek, answer how to focus, how to follow one course until successful. So, why is focus essential? First, again, the universe is and has a way of testing us to determine if we really value our big why. It may send us detractors. You can't do this. It may present insurmountable barriers, cause us to experience the terrible barriers. It may enchant us with attractive alternatives, masqueraded as better options. It may equip us to fail over and over again. And so, how to focus? Just do it. Yes, we can think about it, we can break it down, we can come up with all kinds of formulas. The bottom line is just do it. When it's uncomfortable, just do it. When you hear a lot of noise, turn the noise down. If you can't turn it down, just do it. Just do what you need to do to move forward. Use 1 or 2, no more, over a 30-day period, 60-day period, 90-day period, max. New daily habits that honor your belief in your freedom now. Read aloud your self affirmation, for example. Pray, meditate, dance, listen to select music. Go spaces where you could see the natural order of life, the ocean, meadows. Oh my goodness, redwood forest. If you're in Northern California, there's many places across this planet that are majestic. And oftentimes it's literally in our backyard. The bottom line is there's no magic. There is just what works for you. Leverage key resources. And when life calls us, that is when we have to answer. So says and reminds us Louise Hayes. Answer. What resources am I welcoming into my life to ensure that my big why materializes, is manifested? Human, people, technological, physical, financial, spiritual. Write down and be ready to add more, because for sure, the universe is going to be sending you resources when you decide. Oh my God. It's one of our gifts, the ability to just decide. We've got to be grateful. We get to choose all day long. So for sure, welcome expertise from those who already have accomplished big time. They're recorded in books, articles. Check out select folks. See if you can get 5-minute, 10-minute informational interviews. You may be surprised. Some of you know this. Some of the most remarkable folks. So we say, we refer to them as. They're just like the rest of us. They bleed like the rest of us. They feel like the rest of us. The difference between those individuals who've accomplished what we seek to accomplish, maybe not in the same way or the exact same thing, is they acted. They just did it. They kept doing it. They were clear that they were already in that moment, in the freedom space. And it manifested, wasn't a surprise to them, because all we saw, many of us saw, was the tip of the iceberg unless we knew them intimately. And then we could see all underneath the water, the ocean, this huge mammoth series of experiences, knowledge, education they accumulated, contacts they made, observations they made, network connections they established with formal and informal groups that just catapulted them. And so when they moved from one level of vibration, we call it, to a higher level of vibration, to an even higher, the universe was giving them exactly what they had asked for at that level of vibration. Be open to having answers. In other words, come from diverse sources. Know that what you ask for and believe, you're worthy of. You receive. So many reminders reminders around us, tongue twist, is that God has a plan for us. Believe nothing is impossible. We can manifest anything. We are about what we think about all day long. Our subconscious mind dictates 95% of our behaviors. There's so many means, sayings, truths out there. And truth is truth. It doesn't matter where you find it. It's in the cosmos. Truth is truth. The key thing is knowing that you're worthy of that freedom you seek to experience. And knowing that you're experiencing it now because you're imagining, you're feeling, you're being in the space of. You demonstrate you deserve it being manifested. And know that you're always moving in a space of freedom. And that's part of the essence. So next week, we're going to continue with this. We're going to go to other steps to summarize the power of what you already have. You don't have to pay for this. Yes, you can go to experts and get this and more. You can buy books, which we love books. We encourage you to read. We encourage you to expose yourself to folks who are doing, who are informing, who are supporting your freedom. Most importantly, as you do that, remember something. We speak gratitude all day long for a reason. All our lived experiences, from our humble perspective, is for a reason. You may not, I may not, we may not know while we're in these physical temples why. Leverage all of them to the degree that's useful. If you don't know how to leverage something, put it on the shelf. If you know something is not worth leveraging, toss it out. Keep moving. Yet move in a way that makes it clear that you are already free. And all you're doing is taking the step to tell the universe you welcome all the manifestation of it. Gratitude to you for choosing to leverage us. And most importantly, gratitude always for leading and leading in a way that demonstrates you understand your responsibility 24/7 for your growth, your development, and knocking out the park so that you are maximizing your well-being. The joy that you may try to imagine, you have to imagine anymore. You're living it all day long. The happiness you are instilling in others because of the joy you choose to manifest, oh my God, You may never know in this lifetime your power. Your power to influence always begins with you choosing to honor you, knowing your worth, and maybe you don't even know your full worth, and knowing you're worthy of your big why. Keep moving forward. Allow yourself to smile big. Let that heart just expand where there's no limits. And enable your mindset to be that growth mindset that facilitates you're living your personal genius. Why don't?